All right. So, greetings, everyone. I would like to start this presentation by asking you all a question. So, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about fast fashion? Right. So, this is the same question that I asked in my survey, and many of the respondents they answered with cheap H&M, um, unsustainable, yet trendy and affordable. So, while there's a stigma around fast fashion companies and products, this doesn't stop consumers from actually purchasing the product itself, right? So my topic is about CSR as market signals in the fast fashion industry, and my research question is what is the role of CSR as market signals on the effect of CSR perception on purchase intention and skepticism um, in fast fashion advertising. So we'll have a look at this research question through the lens of two main theories, signaling theory and the belief in adjustable theory. The signaling theory basically states that there's an interdependence between the firm and the consumer. And also there's a certain amount of information asymmetry that is present. So the lower the information asymmetry, the better it is for the firm because then the consumers find it to be more believable and more truthful. Um, and the belief in adjustable theory basically states that there's a sense of justice in people and consumers, so that people are inclined to restore that justice if, let's say, there is a person in need that needs help, so they are more likely to help that person out and restore that sense of justice in the world, right? So we'll have a look at this research question through three main objectives, which are we'll basically see the impact of CSR perception, the effect of CSR as market signals, and the difference between more precise and less precise numbers on purchase intention and skepticism in the fast fashion context. So let me state the research problem. So basically, consumers have progressively started dedicating more attention towards CSR products, actions, and values. So CSR now can be used as a strategic tool for firms to gain personal benefits as well as societal benefits. However, this comes at a price because this means that actually consumers are perceiving CSR being used by firms negatively, and this imposes a great deal of skepticism. However, fast fashion companies, who are the pinnacle of this, counteract this issue through the process of implementing sustainable efforts by signaling environmentally friendly information about the product. So they use many different strategies in advertising, and one of those is whether they have to contemplate whether to use more or less precise numbers, right? So studies have proven that using any sort of CSR practice can decrease information asymmetry between the firm and the consumer and other relevant stakeholders. And also, if the firm uses, um, let's say, victim derogation, consumers will be likely to engage in that product and restore the sense of justice by actually purchasing a product that they know that they can help through the purchase itself. So this brings us to the main conceptual framework, and I developed 6 hypotheses that will help us investigate the research question. The first one is that a higher perception of CSR will lead to a greater purchase intention. Second one, the purchase intention will be greater for a more numerically precise market signal when compared to a less precise market signal. The skepticism of advertising is negatively correlated with purchase intention, and then skepticism of advertising will be higher for less precise market signal when compared to a more precise market signal. And then purchase intention will be greater for a high BGW coefficient when compared to a low BGW coefficient. And number 6, purchase intention will be the highest in the presence of a high BGW and a more numerically precise market signal. I'll come to these 5 and 6 hypotheses later um, in the methodology. So this is the proposed conceptual framework where we investigate the impact of these moderating variables on the independent variable of CSR perception, on purchase intention, and advertisement skepticism, which are the dependent variables. So a methodology, so a survey was conducted through the Qualtrics software where 233 respondents answered to it or participated, and basically the study was between subject design that contained 6 measurement items altogether. These 3 would be of most important to us for this presentation, for the purpose of this presentation. And what happened was that the participants were presented with two sets of advertisements. So after the first set, which was the control condition, and the second set, which was the manipulation or the modified condition, and the purchase intention and skepticism were measured after each advertisement, right? So as you can see, the difference between the first and the second advertisement is the numerical information or market signals that are present, and in the four conditions over here, the differences appear in the less precise number, more precise number, and the low BGW or contribution amount and high BGW amount to local producers, right? So through measuring the purchase intention and differences in skepticism, what we noticed, so tying this back to the research question altogether and answering the objectives, CSR perception was a significant predictor of purchase intention and skepticism. Purchase intention was negatively correlated with skepticism, and there was a significant difference in measures of purchase intention and skepticism between the two adverts. However, the interaction and independent effect of numerical signals of the moderating variables effect were non-significant, right? So basically putting this into context, or visual context, as I should say, the purchase intention increased from the first advert to the second advert. And as you can see here, although this might be a bit misleading why the skepticism increased, this is not the case. The truthfulness of the advertisement increased. So in the measurement over here that was presented in the survey, the participants found the second advertisement to be more truthful. So actually what happened was that the overall skepticism decreased and the truthfulness actually increased, right? And in hypothesis 5 and 6, we claim that a more precise number combined with a high contribution amount would yield the highest purchase intention and lowest skepticism. And this was the case. However, these results were non-significant, right? This brings us to the revised conceptual framework, and the main things to take away are that the CSR consumer perception was statistically significant as a predictor for pre-purchase and pre-advert skepticism and intention, and the differences in purchase intention and advertisement skepticism. However, third, there was no difference or no impact of the numerical market signals, so no impact of the moderating variables that was actually significant on the purchase intention or skepticism. So what are the theoretical implications? The findings from the thesis actually build on the previous literature. They corroborate with prior research through investigating ethical products and purchase intention and looking at the mindset of consumers that buy fast fashion products. And we basically incorporate the just world theory in a fast fashion context, which was not done in any prior study before. So it actually builds on ethical products studied by Fernham, and it looks at how we can compose and structure effective market signals in the second advertisement by using more numerical signals, right? So the managerial implications from those are quite straightforward. That marketers should aim to use numerical figures in CSR market signals, and basically they had the opportunity to do that by finding the right combination of verbal and numerical cues. They should also attempt to instruct and educate consumers of what is the false and what is the difference between the false and a real signal, and so that they reduce the information asymmetry even further. And the focus of communication should be on the consumer needs and expectations. Right? So the limitations and suggestions for further research are quite straightforward. So it should be the study should be conducted on different product categories, and it should be within subject instead of between subject, so that you can see the different impact of the numerical market signals, and also cross-cultural implications or exploration should also be conducted, and the exploration of how different target segments right target groups react to the advertisements should also be explored. Thank you. This was all, and hopefully you enjoyed the presentation.